Good afternoon, colorists. I am Mia Leondo with Badass Art, and I am here today to finish up this little bee tutorial. We've been working on her for a few days with Crayola Colors of the World, and we've also worked on her with Indra Creative Macarons. We've had pretty good luck with her so far. We've done her hair, and we've learned how to do the iridescent wings. So today we're going to work on the background, and in the last tutorial I talked about pan pastels, and this is what they look like. Actually, when they come to you, they're going to all be flat in a plastic package, and when you get them, you just individually they screw into each other so that they make a little tower, and they're pretty neat. I've obviously used them already, and I like them if you're trying to make quick work of something. If you're trying to cover like a large area fast, pan pastels are a good way to do that. They're about $50 a set. You get, I think, 7 colors? Yeah, 7 colors. There's this, and that's the 7th color. So I've got, I think, 3 sets of them. I have a skin tone set and I have a pink set, but I thought we would stick with this blue-green set. Now, I said I was going to show you how to make your own pastels at home. And of course, when I went to get my cheap pastel chalk set out, I couldn't find it, and I think I've misplaced it, and I will find it. I did find, let me grab this here, a couple of Conti crayon pieces, and just for the sake of the video, I want to show you what I do, and I'm going to set this right on top of the page. So I just take an emery board. You can grab these anywhere for pretty cheap, and I just kind of scratch the chalk pastel onto a little dish. And of course, you can, the softer the chalk, the easier the scraping. And if you have a cotton swab, just grab that. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to pick a spot so that you can see that the consistency is identical to what we're about to use. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend $50 on 6 or 7 colors of pan pastels. You don't. If you have a Walmart or a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's close to you, you can go online, of course, and just find a cheap set of chalk pastels made for kids. They don't have to be expensive. Just find a cheap set of chalk pastels, get an emery board and some cotton swabs, and you can get the same effect as if you were using a $50 set of pan pastels. It's in my opinion, it's the same thing. I don't know. They're just calling it shade. They don't really tell you. It's just pigment. So when you get these, they come with this nifty little applicator. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to put a new one on so we don't have any overlapping colors. Apologize for the yucky band-aid. I don't know what I did. I looked down and my thumb was bleeding, so who knows. I'm gonna start. And I apologize for my setup today too. I'm kind of in that transitional period between holding the camera in my lap while I'm working and setting up my studio. So kind of just bear with me. So I'm just going to lay a little bit of color down here, kind of get a feel for how opaque it's going to be over your grayscale. And this is a pretty dark area, that's why I chose this first. Now, I'll tell you something, and this is just a little trick of the trade. If you're left-handed, start here and work this way. If you're right-handed, start here and go this way. It's chalk. You're going to drag your hand through it. The reason why I started over here is just to see how opaque this is going to go over the dark grayscale, and it looks pretty impressive there. So, good for us. I'm going to move over here so we aren't dragging our hands through everything. I'm making sure that we're in view. And this is just my lamp stand. Okay. Now, I'm going to get this chartreuse color that came in the set. And it's just, you don't need a lot. You can just barely touch it. These things should last me for the rest of my life. And I'm going to go over to the top area here. And I'm just going to lay this chartreuse color down. And notice how much coverage I'm getting with just that one little dab. And I really scrub that pigment in. I'm not very merciful with the paper. I mean, you don't want to tear a hole in it, but I don't give it a whole lot of leeway here. I'm going to go ahead and get that into the paper. And I'm just barely touching it, just kind of dabbing it. And if you watched the last tutorial where we took our pencils and we just kind of randomly selected our colors and went around to make kind of a out of focus flower garden behind her. It's kind of the same idea, but we're not going to use as many colors this time. If I don't move that, I'm going to end up with my hand in it. Now I'm going to take this lighter green, and I'm going to come in over here. Now some people like to use a different sponge for every color. I kind of load them up on top of each other, but these replacement sponges are pretty cheap. You can buy them in the bagfuls on Amazon, but I also think that you can pick these up at the dollar store, like a bag, a big bag of them. So have a look around your local dollar store, Family Dollar, Dollar General. I don't think Dollar General, I think it's a Dollar Tree thing. And you see how fast this is going. You can really cover a lot of area. It would help if I moved it so you could see what was happening, huh? I am pretty sure I have a magenta in this set. And that's why I said, you know, grab those cheap chalk pastels and make your own. You don't have to spend a lot of money on all these different colors because each set is about 50 bucks, like I said. And that's the one I was looking for. Very last one, isn't that the way? I'm gonna come in here. And add this bright fuchsia. Now, if you're at home and you're following along and you don't have chalk and you don't have pan pastels, pencils work just fine. So does watercolor paint. Just make sure that you put something behind the page so that you're protecting it, because the water, and even markers, so that you're not, it's not bleeding through. And these are just colors that I've decided might look good with this. You can choose your own, of course. Now this one has like a little bit of a shimmer in it, and I've not used it. This one's just, this is its maiden voyage. Push back over here. And I know I'm not following my own instructions. I'm not going this way, but I'm kind of working down the page, so I'm keeping my hands out of it because, trust me, I'm one of the messiest artists. Oh my gosh. I don't think it's good art unless I make a mess. And I'm not crazy, actually, about it. I'm surprised. I thought I'd like it. Now, this nifty little salmon color came. I'm going to see if I like that better. Better. It's got a little more oomph to it. That one, the other one, this one that I just threw spinning, it's almost like this would actually be really pretty, like across the cheek area, like a little bronzer or something. I'll tell you what. Sometimes cotton swabs, you just kind of get a little more control with them. And I keep them on hand in my art area. This little triangular one, and I think I have a fresh, yep, I have a fresh sponge tip. And there's just a touch of shimmer in it. It's kind of pretty. And I'm just putting these colors on. There is absolutely no plan. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of trying to grab little colors that are already in her hair and in the wings. Now, a question that I've had with these is, how do you keep them from smudging when you're done? Good question. I take a piece of wax paper, just regular cooking wax paper like you keep in your kitchen. And I cut it and I put it over so I'm separating the page. And that usually holds it very well. Or you can get a fixative spray. You can order it online. You can get it at the hobby shop. And it's exactly what it's called, fixative. And you spray it very lightly on the page and it sets it so that it doesn't move. With Amazon paper being as thin as it is, you have to kind of really be far away from it so it doesn't soak the paper. It will still set the paper though. And then you don't really have to put anything over it if you don't want to. And I think those, I don't know exactly how much that stuff runs. Probably around $15 maybe, but it'll last you forever. I'm going to try this bright orange, but I don't want it really close to her hair because I don't want it to take away from her hair. I think I'll try it over here where I had the other loose pastel that we used the emery board on. It is kind of an aggressive orange, so we'll just kind of scrub that out a little bit so that it's not quite so shocking. Yeah, that's aggressive. Don't panic, we can handle it. Pinky purpley color, and I'm going to go right in here and kind of just tone that down a bit. Poof, just like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I might put a dab over here too, because this transition right here I'm not incredibly happy with. Just add a little cloud. Remember, when you see little crumbs with this is actually chalk. It's gonna smear if you do this, so you might want to have like a little brush or like an old makeup brush that you've cleaned out good to flick those away so they don't smear on the way out and leave you with a mark you weren't planning on. I'm going to take just a touch of this. There, that's better. Much better. I'm going to go back to the green. And of course, if you don't feel comfortable going into these little narrow places, you can always do that with pencil, or you can grab a cotton swab so that you'll have a little more control. And don't forget, if you do catch, the lines, or you do go in, you can always go in with pencil and correct your actual picture where you don't want the chalk to be. It's chalk. It goes away pretty easy before you set it. And suddenly, a background that might have taken you a few hours if you were just using colored pencils or something that just takes, you know, not so much time. You can cover a whole lot more area with these chalks. And it's really a pretty effect. Okay, what do we think? Are we happy? I know we don't have her all the way in the camera. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So really all that's left are just black pencil to go over the little fur from the bees. And I think she's just about finished. Awesome. So now that we've nearly finished our little bee lady, I'm super excited because the new book, Botany Bay, has come in. I know that's kind of a bad shot. And we're going to get started on some really interesting pictures from this one. We're going to do some neat color combinations and blending in this. And there's lots of neat little fairies in there. So, okay, I think that'll do it for today, but I will be back tomorrow with a brand new tutorial. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. That way you'll get a notification every time there's a new video. And if you haven't jumped over to my Facebook group, it's called Badass Art. Make sure you go over and send us a request. That way you can see everybody else's beautiful colorings as well. We'd like to see yours. If you do color the books or you color a picture, please post it with a hashtag so that I can see it. Hashtag #MeOYondo or Badass Art. I'd love to see your work. Thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.